Hello, hello, hello. How is everyone out there? How's everyone doing? Great to see some of the folks, some of the regular community members and also regular members. Nice to see you, Jalin. Good to see you, Ron. Excellent. Awesome, folks. As usual, there you go. Oh, there you go. Gil from Seneca, South Carolina, right around the corner from me, actually. Exciting Electronics. Good to see you. Tell us where you're from. What country, city, state? Hey, Heather and Michael. There you go. Everybody introducing. Doing great. There we go. Excellent. Yeah, tell us where you're from, folks. We are tinkeringwithtech.net, and the barcode's up there. I got my little logo in the middle now and everything. It's all nice and fancy. So all you got to do is just take your phone, put it up there, and it'll take you right to our website so you can learn a little bit about what we do. Man, how exciting is today? Today should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. Oh, there's Tiger Doug down in Mount Pleasant. Oh, look, there's Mike. Niagara Falls. Wow. Hermitage, Tennessee. We got them from all over the place. Of course, we knew that with Andrew. We knew that one. But all right, so we have a guest on today. I've seen this person a couple.
I'm excited.
I know.
I'm excited about this because she has a lot of energy, and she actually might rival you in your energy. So I'm quite excited about this. And she seems like a great person to get to know. So this is going to be a fun episode.
Yeah, I'm excited. And some of the things she does, what does she do, Heather? Some of the things, can you remember some of the stuff or no? Are we just going to have to?
I remember something about being a marketing strategist. And,
okay.
and this part, self-proclaimed tech junkie. I love that.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely. My favorite. Okay, so she geeks out teaching entrepreneurs how to get scrappy but not crappy when it comes to creating videos and content. I love that.
I know,
what
right?
a great line. I want to use that line. I swear to God, when she told me that, I was like, that was
Melanie.
awesome.
No.
But anyway, all right, let's bring her on.
We could talk about her for an hour, but I think it'd be better if we just brought her. So.
That's right. Okay, so
hi to Melanie.
Oh, she's gone. She left. Look, there you go. What's up, Mel? Oh, no sound. We don't hear any sound. Hold on, no sound. Oh, there you go.
Stream deck.
I'm too techie for my own good sometimes. I had it muted in my little app. You can't take scrappy, not crappy. You can't. That is all mine.
I get it.
I heard you, Heather. You got my back. I appreciate that.
Maybe I could pay copyright or something, or pay copy.
I don't know. I need to get on that. I need to go trademark that right now.
That was there you go. No,
I know where to find you. I'll come after you.
That's right. That's good stuff. Now, this is exciting because I actually watched your show today, and we were actually talking about that stuff. One thing I really like is that you make the videos that I've seen that you do and stuff like that is you make tech like you almost like, okay, calm down. This is the way it's going to be. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just making it like, oh my God, this just doesn't make sense or whatever, you kind of ease everybody down and just kind of bring it into layman's terms, I think is the easiest way to put it. I mean, do you agree? I mean, I feel like you do that.
Yeah, I feel like I've received a lot of feedback over the years that I do a really good job taking complex things and explaining them in a not so complex way. And I take pride in it. I mean, I do. I do think I'm a pretty good teacher when it comes to that. I also feel like I'm a really empathetic person most of the time. And I don't know, one of my talents, I guess I'll say, is that I can actually kind of like predict the thought process from people. So I can predict when they're going to get overwhelmed or what they're going to get stumped on. And so I just try to, I guess I use that prediction, and the way I teach and the way I break things down is I try to mitigate that situation of overwhelm. So cool. Yeah, that's why I love helping people. I mean, I consider myself a DIY marketer. So I basically am self-taught by just doing research and learning things and trying things. You know, my background is not in marketing. I didn't go to school for marketing. I was not formally trained. But I think that what's so cool about the world right now in technology is that it's the barrier of entry is so much lower than it used to be. You know, like just like even live video, for example, you know, here we are using this amazing application, StreamYard, which makes it so easy to look amazing. Like you can look really fancy. People are like, whoa, how do you know how to do that? And I'm like, you mean, how do I know how to click on my mouse button? Because like, that's like all it is. You know, so I do think that with the way softwares come and technology and everything else, anybody can be techie these days as long as they're willing to try things. And so I feel the same way about marketing. And I think that we're all marketing ourselves, whether we're owning businesses or not. I mean, even if you don't own a business and you work inside of a company, you have a personal brand and you need to be marketing yourself in some ways. And so I like helping other, what I call DIY marketers. They are doing their own marketing and they're doing it DIY style. They are figuring it out. They're not hiring it out.
So cool.
And I think that, again, just like technology, if you play around with it, you figure stuff out and it's very rewarding. And then if you do want to outsource something later, you're smarter about it because you've done it yourself, or at least you know where your limitations are.
Yeah,
and you know what to expect too, because you've done it yourself. So you do know what to expect if there's somebody's going to charge you for it. Yep.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, tell people where you're from.
Yeah. I'm from Muncie, Indiana, which is a little, small town just northeast of Indianapolis, Indiana, which is where the Indy 500 is. It's race month, so that's kind of a big deal in Indiana. Yeah. So we always talk about that. But Muncie, Indiana, fun fact. Well, it's also where Ball State University is, which is a college that a lot of people haven't heard of. But it's where David Letterman went to school. So an amazing TCOM department. It's where he went to school. Garfield is from Muncie, technically from a little tiny, like one street away from Muncie, but he's from Muncie. So Garfield, Jim Davis is actually still lives here. So
that's awesome.
It's where the ball jars are from. So if you have mason jars, ball jars, I got some back there. That's if you know about ball jars, they are from Muncie. So nobody really has ever heard of Muncie, but for the most part, those are the things. And
but
then,
it has affected
Parks
your
and
life
Recreation.
one way or another, right?
That's right.
What was that, Heather?
I said it has affected your life in one way or another. We guarantee.
I grew up here, and so I love it here. But I moved away out after college. I moved to Indianapolis, lived there for a long time, and then I moved to Chicago. I lived in Chicago for a couple of years. Loved Chicago. I'm a big Cubs fan. Lived 2 blocks from the stadium, which was incredible. And then I moved out to Charlotte for a couple of years. It's actually where my daughter was born. And then I moved back. And I've been here for 10 years. Been back here for 10 years. And who knows what the next adventure will bring. But it's a good town. It's fun. So
that's cool. I had a good friend. I think he was south of Indianapolis. He was in 𝐤𝐸𝐽.
Yeah, that's
Indiana.
Actually straight. That's like due north. It's actually straight
is it?
north of
Okay, straight north.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I was little did I know. But anyway, so
Michael's not good at geography.
Yeah, geography is not my
not
best.
A geography person.
I had the map upside down when I was talking to him, so I thought it was south. No, I'm just kidding.
I just thought maybe you thought south was that way. But.
Don't. Yeah, exactly. I do have issues. No, but anyway. No, but so and you're helping StreamYard. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah,
You're
so
I'm
a partner for StreamYard, so I help them with some of their content strategy, just collaboratively, kind of speaking on behalf of the users. But I also am a content contributor, so I've helping them with their blog and their YouTube videos, and I'm doing some streams for them now. So if you're a StreamYard user, I would definitely recommend subscribing to the StreamYard channel because they have a lot of great content. But on Wednesdays. Gosh, it was today, right? Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
Oh my God. I haven't even had any cocktails yet. Like it's like seriously. But
yeah. You should start.
I seriously, I'm ready. But I'll wait. No, 11 o'clock on Wednesdays Eastern time, they have a show called Ask StreamYard, and that's a show that we just started. And it's basically where we feature a user question, but it's a great way to learn all kinds of stuff. So I'll be on some of their live shows and doing some more stuff for them. So it's a lot of fun. It's a great application. I totally love it. That they're an amazing company, and just I think it's great. So yeah.
Well, and the biggest thing, the reason that I made the move to StreamYard, because I know I have a lot of stuff. I do the OBS, I bring all that stuff in, do all that game show, totally different. One of the biggest things, and my community knows this. People have heard me say this over and over and over. They're probably sick of me hearing me saying that, but yes, we heckled you earlier today is what Mike said.
NLTMW,
but it's the collaboration. It's bringing that comment on, making that part. I mean, because I always say you can always go watch TV and watch 2 people talk, but I will say this: it's that part. It's bringing the comments in, bringing the people in, getting the personality in. That's what makes this so special and different. And actually, I know a lot of people have told me this as well. I watch more YouTube and stuff like this than I actually do TV because I can participate and I can engage.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's incredible. So.
I mean, I agree. I think that's definitely, you know, my favorite thing about live video. And that's essentially one of the things that I do is I help people build live video strategies and do live video and more. And so I believe in live video so much because of what you just described, the connection that you can create. I mean, you can create content all day long, but nothing can compare to, I will say that ever since I really truly committed myself to going live and going live consistently, even though I literally like resisted that for a long time. And then I'm a marketer, you guys. Like, and I was like, you can't tell me what to do. You can't box me in. I mean, I just didn't want to be boxed in. And so I've resisted it for a really long time. And then I finally just picked a day and time and I blocked it on my calendar. I was just like, here we go. And what do you know? It freaking worked. And I was just like, all those marketing experts were right. But I mean, here's the thing though. When I started doing it regularly, it wasn't, my audience started getting to know me, but I was getting to know them. I see faces like, you know, 𝐿TMW, which I can never remember what the heck that stands for.
It's Mike.
It's never let the machines win. Never let the machines win is what it stands for.
Yes. Yeah. He's on all kinds of shows. Like I've seen him before. So, you know, like, and you get to know people and I get to know my audience too, because we're having a conversation and that is no content competes with that. None. Yeah. You know, these audio apps, maybe those are kind of another thing, but there's just nothing that can compare to the conversations and the connection you create when you use live video. And I agree that StreamYard literally is like,
Thank you,
so
Richard.
easy. Yeah.
Thank you,
It's
Richard.
so easy.
Look, he just subscribed.
Hey, what's up, Richard? I can't wait to see you on the show Tuesday. Hey, by the way, I have a fun trick for you, Heather. You're gonna like this. Heather, I think is the controller. I'm assuming she's like the
somewhat. Both of us kind of.
We both do. We both do it.
We both do it.
Have you guys seen me talk about the space bar? Do you know about the space bar?
Okay. I don't.
Click a comment. Oh, looks like did we get a super chat? Awesome.
Oh, from my son. From my son, he owes me money.
And now hit the space bar.
Hit it again. Hit it again.
Cool.
So like, you know how sometimes you get lost in the comments or you're on one and then it scrolls up and you're like, oh crap, I need to deselect it. Yes. Just hit the space bar and it goes away. How fun is that?
Look at there.
I like that.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Stephen. That was my son. He must owe me some money.
I was gonna say he must be paying you back.
Thank you, son. I appreciate you. No, I do appreciate the support.
Space bar. That's a good.
Yeah,
that's a
like
good
undo button. Yeah.
So they finally got one hotkey. It's about time they got a hotkey.
And Michael, I'm not even sure it's on purpose. For all I know, it's a bug. They don't even know it's there.
Don't tell them.
I know. I'm seriously like, I don't want them to know. Like, it's,
hey, Mike out there and 𝐿TMW, you're gonna love it. They got one out there. Oh my goodness, Richard, thank you so much. Look at that.
Richard.
Stephen, you gotta work on getting up to Richard's level.
Sorry, Stephen. Richard up.
Thank you,
does Richard owe you money too? He owes you a lot of money.
No, he does not.
Did you guys like give them money and say, we do a super chat? I'm just kidding.
No, but that's a new thing that we might institute if they stop. Mike says, don't tell Dan.
Yeah, don't tell Dan because you don't want him to erase it. That's right.
That's right.
This is awesome. See, this is the way it should be too. The fun. Go ahead, Heather. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, I was just gonna say, you know, I went over and followed you over on Twitter because it was funny. Michael's like, this is who's going to be on our show. And I'm like, oh, I don't know the name. And I went over and I saw and I was like, oh, she's amazing. I love Wallace stuff. So I went over and followed you on Twitter. And I read in your bio something about a mascot. Do you want to share that with us?
Yeah, I am a retired mascot. Yeah.
Retired. Yeah. I wasn't going to say that because I thought there's no way. I mean, you're not old enough to retire.
Right. Have you guys?
I want to hear the story.
You know the movie Hoosiers, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Amazing movie, absolutely. Basketball movie. So
100%.
the
Gene Hackman.
Yeah. So the high schools in that movie, those aren't the real names of the high schools because they didn't want to pay the royalty fees to the high schools, right?
Thank you, Gil. Thank you for the support, Gil. Thank you.
Love it.
I don't mean to interrupt, but when somebody's giving money,
when they're giving you money, right?
Yeah, that's sweet. Thank you very much, Gil. Yeah.
So
all right.
The high schools, they were in the championship game, it was like the something Bears, I forget. That was actually the Muncie Central Bearcats. It's based on a true story.
Oh, wow. Too cool.
And that's where I went to high school. Yeah. So we lost, obviously, right? But so Muncie Central High School is where I went to high school, and they were, Indiana is a big basketball state.
Oh,
and
yes.
I have to say,
100%.
Muncie Central is not a big basketball school anymore.
Right.
The schools have really just changed around here. But I mean, they used to be like, they won the more state championships than anybody. So like here in Muncie, that's what you did. I mean, you went to the games on Friday nights, and it was like really popular. The whole community went. The whole field house would be full. So as a little girl growing up, I was always like, I liked going. I enjoyed it, but I would always watch the mascot and like be like, man, that's so cool. I think I was like 7 years old. I told my dad, I said, I'm gonna do that when I'm in high school. I want to do that mascot thing. And he was like, well, sure. He's like, that sounds great. So I became the mascot. I became the purple Bearcat. I was a purple Bearcat, and I was freaking good. I like you say, I have energy. I mean, I was like running all over the place, sliding on the floor, stealing people's shoes, walking around the field house like, who lost their shoe? And I always did all kinds of stuff. I loved it. I did it for 3 years, and I gotta know, was the only one that did it for 3 years.
Was it like a full costume thing, or did they see your face, or what?
I think I could probably get you a picture.
Oh, I gotta see a picture.
We'll do that.
Yeah,
We'll do that in the backstage. Save that for
in the backstage pass. Yeah, you're right. In the backstage. Oh, all right.
We'll get it.
We'll get the yearbook. So if you're hanging out backstage, we're gonna geek out on the mascot stuff.
Remember, if you're a Tinker with Tech member, we do a backstage pass afterward. You get to talk in person. This is gonna be awesome. Okay, so I got to ask. I think what was it?
These pictures fell out.
That's fabulous.
Something Springs. Some famous basketball player from Indiana. Something Springs. I can't remember the high school exactly, but I know it was in Deer Lick. Do you know who I'm talking? Larry Bird.
Larry Bird. You got Bobby Plump, who was in the movie. All kinds. Bonzi Wells went to my high school. So Bonzi Wells went to my high school. He went to Ball State, and then he became, an NBA player for a minute.
Fun.
Did you see this one from Mike? He said, "But you're such a shy and
I know. Whenever I tell people, I literally am always like, people say, "Well, what's a fun fact about you?" I'm like, I was a mascot for 3 years," and people are always like, are you serious? Like, for real? And people are always like,
they can't
you're officially the first mascot. No, they just are like, I've never met a mascot before. But then they're like, doesn't surprise me at all that you were the mascot. So yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
All right. So did you know that I was our very first mascot at our high school as well?
Oh, really?
I was. Now that you bring it up, yeah, I was. I was the very first warrior. We were the Riverside Warriors, and I was the very first warrior. Yep.
Not nearly as
you
fun
had
as
full
a Bearcat,
headdress, didn't you? Didn't you have a full headdress?
Full headdress.
So Michael
and when I had hair,
didn't have that mask. He didn't have the mask over his face. It's totally his face with the full headdress running.
Yeah. We had those we had the Anderson Indians, and we had the Anderson Highland Scots, and they were in Indians and Scots, and I messed with them so bad because you could see their face. And so my job was to try to basically piss them off. And they would stand out there like in the middle and watch their team warm up, and I'd go and I'd like pull their skirt up, and I was bad. It was fun though.
Oh, I love it.
Mike says Michael's still the mascot there. He graduates next year.
That's true. There is that. There is that. That's for sure. Yep. But I did
actually try out to be a mascot. Does that count? I tried out.
It counts.
Yeah,
it counts.
You tried out. You have to. Yeah, we had to try out too. It was no one tried out my senior year. Apparently, they just knew they weren't going to get it.
They were like, "Forget it,
pretty much."
Mel's gonna
yeah, I walked in.
I just had a big mouth.
Again.
I just had a big mouth and started the cheers. So I would start the cheers yelling across and have everybody go at it. And then once we started doing that, and then I actually was the first president of the Central Spirit Committee for our high school. So there you go. So, yeah, it was crazy.
Well, you did say that you were the first. So basically they didn't have a mascot. They had no intention of having a mascot until you stood up with the headdress your mom made you probably, and you became that. So
it was actually Boy Scouts. The Boy Scouts made it, and it was a couple neighbors that gave me the headset and everything. It was awome. But
that's hilarious.
So much fun.
I love it. I love it.
I wasn't going to say anything, but man, you got me so excited and remembering all those days that when I did that. It was awesome. It is fun though. It was great. It was great to
so
hide
fun.
behind. It's kind of like hide behind kind of thing. You could,
Mm-hmm.
but you also stood out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. If you know,
I
it
mean,
was just
as long as there were some terrifying moments when there were maybe, a dozen children trying to kill me. But for the most part, it's pretty fun. I just remember one moment, this little boy was like, "Rip its arm off. You're not real." And I'm like, oh my God, like, what am I going to do if this little kid literally rips my suit off of me or like tears it? Like, what? I'm sitting there in front of like hundreds and like thousands of fans in the middle of the bat. Like, and I'm like, so I literally was like, okay, for the sake of the Bearcat and everything I stand for, he had a hold of me and I literally just like went and like I just kind of like tucked him and like he like fell back and like I just ran away. I hope he didn't break any bones.
Instead of talking tech, we're going to go with public service announcements. Public service announcements.
Be kind to your mascots, people. Be kind to those mascots.
Yeah, seriously. And if you ever see the children around the mascot, they might need your help. Step in.
And you know what? That happens at every game, right? I mean, that's where all the kids go. And then you wonder, why are they running away from the kids?
Oh,
now
yeah.
we know. Now we know.
Yeah.
What fun is this?
Terrifying. That's the only aspect of it
Fabulous.
that was terrifying. But yeah.
So if you had to give
some tech.
I'm going to do one. I do want to ask you one thing because we're running close to time or whatever before we go to the backstage pass. But I wanted to ask you one thing that because you're
okay. Before you ask, hold on, Michael. Before you ask, because this is mascot thing here. John Brown, just our friend in Hawaii. He says, "My old friend who was a registered bozo the clown used to whack the kids with his long shoes on the shins." To keep them at bay. So it's not just you.
I'm telling you, us mascots, if you get us in a room together, we are talk about stuff like that.
Got some stories, it sounds like. And Mike says he's only here for the mascot stories. So if you really want to tech, Mike might leave. But anyway,
Oh Lord. Okay, so there's people out there that are just scared. I mean, absolutely scared. They don't want to go live. They don't want to be seen. They And I think a lot of times we're all in that boat at some point or another. Even when you get a new job, you're kind of scared or intimidated sometimes. And this is kind of the same way with this. If you had to give one, and I'm sure you probably have, given that you're a marketer and helping entrepreneurs and stuff like that, to give advice, what would you say and what would you do or how do you approach that? What's your thing there?
Yeah, I mean, I just always, this happens a lot. A lot of people I think know that live video, whether they enjoy watching live videos or they are wanting to start thinking about going live to benefit themselves or their business or whatever it might be. But people are typically nervous about how they're going to look on video or how they're going to sound. Here's the thing. Live video, in my opinion, is actually better and easier. And here's why. The expectations of the audience is like not the same. Here we are. We're supposed to be talking about technology and we're talking about mascots. Is anyone unsubscribing because of that? No, right? And if they unsubscribe because of that, they're probably not a good fit anyway, which is fine. But I do think that live video, I mean, heck, especially ever since the pandemic, you watch the news and you have these people using the crappiest webcams ever. And they're like, celebrities and they're everybody's using this virtual stuff now, but all of our expectations have come down. You watch the news and nobody notices or cares. Super chat. Nobody notices or cares. Oh yeah. Nobody notices or cares that like you don't have this amazing setup, right? Heck, we're watching, like I said, we're watching celebrities and newscasters and all kinds of people on TV now, and they're not, using anything fancy. So you don't have to, I think what happens is people, they think they need to wait until they're ready. And I always say, if you're waiting till you're ready, you're never going to be ready. And
That's so
all you need is this thing right here. Grab this thing in your hand and start playing around with it. And just start doing it and take baby steps. It doesn't have to, you don't have to look at shows like this and think, oh, well, I've got to have all these fancy lights and a lava lamp and, all these things and stuff. It's synchronized decor behind me if I want to. Like, you don't have to do that. You just need to grab your phone and go live and just start doing it. Join a community that is fostered around helping you get comfortable with it. There are Facebook groups out there that are literally like live video playgrounds, and they're other people like you who are just trying to learn and figure it out. And so I just say, if you're waiting to feel ready, that's not going to happen. You won't feel more confident until you start taking action, because action is the actual catalyst to confidence and courage. If you're
that.
waiting to be courageous, you won't take action. So if you take action though, and you do it, you're gonna be like, oh man, okay, I feel better. And then you're like, I want to do that again. And then you do it again. And then you do it again. And then you try something new and you add a colored light, or you bring on a guest for the first time, even though it's scary, but you do it. And every time you take that action, you get more confident and more courageous. And then next thing you know, you'll be a freaking live streaming badass, just like all three of us.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
You know what? That's great advice. I absolutely love it. And I think I would add to that just one little smidgen of a thing, and that is join a fabulous community like StreamYard has, or even like Tinkering with Tech, where you can be with other people who might be in the same boat as you, and you can do it together. I mean, partnerships were born out of these kinds of things. Michael and I were together because we got involved in something a long time ago where we were trying to help others and be helpful and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, this is how it happens, right? You got to get involved. You got to get with other people and you got to do stuff. So I love it. Oh, we got a question.
Yes.
Okay.
Mark Barris, one of our community members.
Like it.
Go ahead.
So he says, to gain confidence for live streaming, would you recommend doing live social audio like Clubhouse? This is actually a really great question. And yeah, I think if you are really scared and the video, the camera and all that stuff is overwhelming, then yeah, I would say start with something like Clubhouse. Get used to the live aspect of it, but knowing that you can do it literally, like, heck, I mean, if you want to go live in your pajamas, you can go live in your pajamas. I mean, like, literally, be who you want to be be who you are. Don't feel like you got to, I literally didn't change. I just got off the golf course and I'm like, came down here and here I am. So, I didn't I didn't get dressed up because this is who I am. Be yourself. But that audio stuff does, I think for a lot of people, it actually feels easier because they can kind of let themselves relax, meaning they don't feel like if they're nervous, they can just have whatever face they want in their nervous state and go through it. So it is, I think that it really is actually a great place. But I will say that I find, at least with my students and the people that go through my programs, there's two major things that hold them back from live. Well, there's really three major things that hold them back from live video. One is they're overwhelmed by the tech. And I always say, it's not as hard as you think. And I think once you actually start doing it, you will realize it's not hard. It really isn't. But it is overwhelming because you don't know what to expect. But the only way that you're going to know what to expect is, as we said, to start doing it and dabbling with it. The other thing is that they are afraid. They don't like how they look on camera. And let me tell you something. You may never, ever like how you look on camera. There are famous actors and actresses that make millions of dollars making movies, and they don't even watch their own movies because they don't like watching themselves on video.
You're absolutely right.
So you may never get over that. So what I always say is you need to get used to the feeling of it and just get used to working through it. And some of the ways that you can get used to that is by, when you are on a Zoom call, turn the camera on. Don't sit there with the camera off. Actually turn the camera on even if nobody else has it on. Start FaceTiming your friends. So use, either if you have a FaceTime on your iPhone or use Google Meets or whatever, and actually have conversations, because you're going to be used to seeing yourself on the screen, and then play around with like Instagram stories or Facebook stories, because it's the same thing. Record these short little videos, and that's how you can dabble into feeling more confident about seeing yourself on camera. And then the last thing that people, why they resist, is they don't have ideas. They feel like they don't have anything to go live about. I mean, we just proved that you don't have to have any strategy whatsoever about what you're going to talk about. But, there are definitely some ways, people can go to my website and get some resources on how to generate ideas for your live shows. But don't let the fear, so the audio thing is good. But what I'm afraid about for Mark, when I answer that question, is I don't want you to get stuck.
It's going to keep him. It's going to keep him from. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, and actually, the only thing we talked about in the green room, the only thing we talked about was the fact that you were a mascot. So really, we did kind of have a subject of what we're going to.
We did a little bit. You're right.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah. Okay, go ahead, Heather.
I was just going to say, something you said really clicked with me when you mentioned the stories, like Instagram stories or Facebook stories or any of that. They're temporary. Yeah. So I mean, you can always delete anything. So if you go live and you absolutely hated the experience, you can delete it. Nobody's going to probably see it anyway. It's no big deal. But those things are only there for 24 hours. So it's so temporary that you don't have to be married to it, right? You can just be like, yeah, I gave it a shot. It didn't work. Or I gave it a shot and now it turns out I have 25 people looking at it. I guess I better do another one.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, you just have to start dabbling. And like I said, you may never feel comfortable with it. You just have to get used to feeling uncomfortable. I mean, there are days where I show up and I'm like, whoa, like you should have slept more last night. Or, you know what I mean? But like, I'm just like, whoa, but the show must go on and you will get used to knowing like, it'll be fine. Who cares? Nobody cares. Oh, I got a big zit on my
really
face.
like
All
this
right, nobody cares.
comment from Bill. Bill said, while you're waiting, just get started. I really like that comment. So I want to make sure reading that back up again. But
one thing
great.
too, one thing I would like to say too is you're going to have your negative folks and your naysayers and all that kind of stuff. You're going to have comments out there that says you don't even know what you're talking about, whatever. And a lot of people are afraid of that. You know what I'm saying? They're afraid that people don't want that negative. Everybody wants that thumbs up or that positive or whatever, but that's part of pushing through. Okay. So what did you mean by that?
That's where you grow.
That's where you grow.
Yeah.
That's what makes you better. I mean, I went through that, trust me. And you know what? I found out a couple of times, I'm like, yeah, you know what? I misspoke. I didn't get that right. But what did I do? I created a video on how to do it the right way and found out myself and got it right. So that just encouraged. I turned it around. I turned it around.
Another opportunity to grow. We can't say no to those times, right? When we get an opportunity, we need to take it.
That's what helped me. I mean, not that I was ever shy of being on camera, but you know what I'm saying? I mean, that helped me because nobody likes the negative part. Nobody does.
Right.
I mean, that's just human nature. Nobody likes to be shot down or whatever.
That goes back to that community though, because if you're a part of a community, then you can get, encouragement from those people who do believe in what you're doing and can see your growth and have spent more than the last 30 seconds sending you a nasty comment. So yeah, get with that community, get with somebody that you feel comfortable with, that that they'll be encouraging. I mean, gosh, go to Melanie's website and get involved with what she's doing, because she's got a lot to share.
Yeah. And I have a group. I mean, you can join my group, join your group. I mean, there's groups out there that are built around supporting each other. And so you can find it for sure. Like, I mean, honestly, like you just got to get going. And that's what I always encourage people. And when it comes to technology too, I think people, again, they get overwhelmed or they think it's real expensive, to do all these things. It's not. I mean, it really just isn't. You can spend money. I mean, I can tell you can spend money, but you don't have to. I mean, you can be really scrappy. And that's why I have that phrase is, we need to start scrappy. You do need to start scrappy, because you shouldn't go spend thousands of dollars before you even have an audience or before you start anything. You should get started with your phone and that's it, and get going. But you can be scrappy, but scrappy doesn't have to be crappy. There are definitely ways to do it. And that's definitely something that I take pride on, is figuring out simple things and ways to really maximize the cheap, simple tools. Like I always say, I like to duct tape solutions together. StreamYard doesn't have a camera switcher. Well, I use OBS. And so, I can do that very easily by duct taping the OBS with StreamYard. And so now I'm using the Stream Deck, which is,
I love it.
That's just a toy that you don't have to have, but OBS is free. And you can just do the same thing I just did with your mouse. You don't have to have this piece of hardware. So if you want to start dabbling in other things, you can duct tape solutions together, and there's ways to do it.
Mike is blaming Michael. Mike is blaming Michael because he's an enabler when it comes to spending money, but
that's awesome.
Yes, it is a good investment. Bill's correct. Yes, usually it is.
I really want to encourage you to go to Mel's YouTube channel. Right here it is. Go there, subscribe, watch some of her videos, because you're going to learn a lot. You're going to get a lot. Like I said, a lot of good energy, and you're doing the right things, and you're a good teacher that way. And I see that. I sense that, and I see that. There you go.
Yeah, Stuart's here. Yeah. What's up, Stuart? Hold on, I can say it. 𝐒𝐚𝐬𝐬. That's how you say his name. I actually had him send me a DM to tell me how to pronounce it.
Oh, wow. That's so
all
cool.
right. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay. I'm not going to try that, but
you have to get the
yeah. Okay. I'll wait till I got a little bit of a cold, and I'll do it. But yeah, please, I encourage you guys to go watch. We're going to wrap this up here in just a second. I want to say to community members, if you're not a community member, please, we would love for you to join the community, tinkeringwithtech.net. Just go there, learn about it, and see this show and all the shows are listed on there, the current ones that we're on. And we have it's really kind of cool. It's kind of like a TV guide, but it's a live streaming guide of all of our community members. So you can see all the live streams that they're doing. So that's kind of cool too. It's kind of a cool thing that we started with the community. So, but it's live out there. So you guys can see that and see how that goes. Mel, you're awesome. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate you taking time off the golf course, cutting it short, coming to see us.
Hey, I didn't cut it short. I was a little late for our backstage meeting. That's all.
But let me tell you, I love having you on. I hope you'll come on again. You know, maybe as you
fun.
grow.
Great getting to know you.
Yeah,
Cool.
this has been fun. I feel like we didn't even scratch the surface. So we'll definitely have
That's
to have
Exactly. That's what I think. That's what I think. I'm like, ooh, there's more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, there's a lot more there. So
I can even teach your community how to do these things.
There you go.
Oh, now we're talking.
There you go. Look at there.
Now we're
that,
talking.
right? We can really geek out if we want to.
Now we're
all right. Awesome. Well, community members, come on in the backstage pass. You guys know the link to get there. Mel will give it to you. Stick around after after we do the outtake. Heather, thank you as always. Mel, thank you so much for being our guest. Thank you everybody that shows up and the super chats. It really does mean a lot to me. I really appreciate those super chats. Any little bit of support like that always helps. There you go. Great conversation. Get her on the game show. I do need to get her on the game show. I really do. Wear your mascot head the next time.
Man, if I wore that thing, I don't know about that.
It probably wouldn't fit. It probably wouldn't fit on
fit.
screen.
It probably stinks. Oh my God. I don't know. I'm praying that they have replaced the mascot suit since I wore it 20-some years ago.
I love it. I love it. I hope so too. Just for their sake, whoever's in there is not breathing.
Seriously.
If that's the case, right? After all that time. Hey, thanks a lot so much. Thank you. Thank you. We'll see you in the backstage pass. Stick around here. I'll give you the link so you can get there, Mel. Thank you, everybody. Bye all.